Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Red Donkey Projections. I'm Lucas, and unfortunately, Eric is out this week. He is on vacation. We'll probably see him a little bit this week, but you're going to mainly be hearing my voice. It has been a minute. We have been very busy. Thankfully, school is off this week, so we'll be pumping out a lot more videos this week, starting from today. And today, we'll be giving our updated 2022 governor forecast. It's hard to believe that 2021 is already almost over, but this is officially our updated forecast that we had. I believe we did this once, I would say 2 months ago. So this is what we're going to be thinking now. And this is, of course, going to be very different from before because we got a lot of new updates and a better view of what the political environment will be in 2022. And with that being said, let's get right into it. Let me first by putting in the results that we already know. Virginia won to Glenn Youngkin, and New Jersey, Phil Murphy won narrowly. So we're going to quickly go through the safe blue states first that we do not need to really consider. I'm going to actually hold off on Connecticut. But in general, from what we've seen in the 2021 governor elections, the political environment is very poor for Democrats and very good for Republicans. We saw this in their victories in their victory in Virginia, in the governor election, the lieutenant governor election, and also in their very narrow margin in New Jersey. No one expected that race to really come so close, especially not us. We thought that Phil Murphy would win by a pretty big margin. All right, so Iowa is going to be safe for Kim Reynolds, especially in a very deep blue, red environment. She should have no problem winning re-election. Maryland, Governor Larry Hogan cannot run for re-election. We expect this to be a very safe blue because of Maryland's partisanship. Vermont, assuming Phil Scott runs for re-election, will go with safe R. New Hampshire, we now know that Kristen will be running for governor again, not Senate, so we know that this will probably be safe R. The state of Massachusetts, this took a 360 literally in one day. Charlie Baker has announced that he will not be running for re-election. As a result, we are pretty confident saying that this will be safe Democrat because we also know that Karen Polito, his lieutenant governor, will also not be running for re-election, which is a good sign for Democrats here. And that should be it for all the safe Democratic and safe Republican states. Although there is one more safe Republican state, the state of South Carolina. Initially, we had this one as likely R because Democrats were running a really good candidate against Henry McMaster, and that candidate is Joe Cunningham, who came very close to winning re-election in 2020, but won in 2018 in a huge upset. He represents the low country of South Carolina, this region here, but he did lose re-election, and this is looking to be a pretty dark red year, so that would be very good for incumbent governor Henry McMaster. So that should be it for the safe states. Alaska, probably likely, because it is a little less partisan than most Republican states. And this should be a good reminder of what our margins is. Our margins are safe is 15 points or higher, likely is 5 to 15, lean is less than 5, or rather 1 to 5, and tilt is less than 1 point. The state of Connecticut, I left it off initially. We are putting this one as likely D, because Connecticut is one of those weird states where they're a lot less Democratic on the governor level than they are on the presidential level. In 2018, incumbent governor Ned Lamont only won by around 3 points. Well, he wasn't incumbent governor there then, but he only won by 3 points, and this is still a pretty deep blue state. Ohio, I would also think would be safe, either safe or likely. Incumbent Governor Rob Portman seems to be getting a primary challenge there, but we'll keep it as safe for now, given the environment. The state of Colorado, Jared Polis, probably a likely because of how much the suburban areas here have trended to the left. Michelle Lujan Grisham, I think she will win, but it could end up being slightly lower than 5 points. So I'm going to move this one to lean D, given the environment and her scandals that she has currently. The state of Kansas, this is actually held currently by a Democratic governor named Laura Kelly. This might be surprising to some because Kansas is a very deep red state. She won in 2018 against Chris Kobach, who was a very, very poor candidate who tends to lose elections here. So she kind of got lucky in 2018, plus the fact that there was a third-party candidate who I believe his name was George Orman. Maybe not George, but his last name was Orman, who helped split that right-wing vote, which also contributed to her victory. I think she got very lucky in winning in 2018, and I don't think she'd be able to pull that off again in 2022, especially given the new environment, plus the fact that the Republicans are probably going to be running a better candidate this time. Although she has tried to push herself towards the center by saying that she opposed Biden's vaccine mandates, it still does not seem very likely that she can win. So we'll put this one as likely R. The next state we'll head to is the state of Minnesota. Tim Walz is currently the governor. I think he will win re-election, but still in a less safe margin, probably in lead D instead of perhaps likely D. I'll skip Tony Evers. Let's head to Maine. Maine is interesting because former governor Paul Lepage, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name, is running for this seat again against the incumbent Democratic governor. So I think that the Democrat will win here, but also it'll be very close. I would put this one as lean, borderline tilt, given we still don't know how bad this environment is going to be for Democrats right now. So this is my estimate right now that we're going to be going with lean. But this could move to tilt very well. It could be moving to tilt depending on how we see the polls come in here and other factors. The state of Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis, also we think that he will win in a pretty decent margin, probably a likely margin, relatively similar to what Marco Rubio is winning by. He's pretty popular among that Trump base, but we think he can gain support to win in a healthy margin. The state of Texas. This could have been very interesting if maybe this was a different year, but this is going to be between Beto O'Rourke, who obviously is a very, very well-known figure, against the incumbent governor, Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott's actually facing a primary challenge right now from the right, from, I believe, Representative West. I don't think he will end up losing in that primary anyway. And I do think this one is a likely R race. If you were to perhaps show me this matchup in a blue wave year instead of what the environment we have right now, it could maybe be competitive. But for two reasons, we have this race as likely. One is the fact that Greg Abbott is a pretty decent electoral candidate. He has won in the past in very, very large margins, which we don't think Beto O'Rourke can really top. For example, in 2018, he won by, I think, like 10% in the governor election, while Ted Cruz and other down ballot candidates only won by like 3 or 2 points. Second reason is, again, this is a very, very Republican environment, and I don't think Beto could pull it off. And, third is that when Beto ran for president, he kind of nationalized his opinions on guns and saying that, we're going to take your AR-15s, which could not go very well with Texan voters, which, as many of them are indeed gun owners. So we have this one as likely R. The state of Nevada, Steve Sisolak, we think he will win, but also in not as big of a margin as we initially expected, probably a lean or even a tilt. We'll put it at tilt for now, actually. Michigan, we also have this one as a tilt state. James Craig, I believe, could end up being the candidate. He was the former police chief, I believe. This could end up being also a very, very interesting election because he could potentially make it competitive, but we think Gretchen Whitmer will be able to hold on. Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, the current attorney general, is running for this seat, which I think most people did end up expecting. We have this one also as tilt. Actually, you know what? I think we'll have this one as lead because Josh Shapiro is a pretty decent electoral candidate. Just like Greg Abbott, he tends to outrun the top of the ticket by a decent amount. I believe in 2020, he also outran Joe Biden. And Republicans have not really put up a really great candidate yet. So we're going to keep this one as lean D. Wisconsin, we are projecting a flip for this one. We're not too sure who Republicans are going to run against Tony Evers, but given the political environment right now, and the fact that Tony Evers is pretty unpopular in the state, we have this one as flipping to the Republicans, but this is another state where we just have to wait and see what happens. The state of Georgia, this might surprise some people, but we actually have this one as Tilt D. Stacey Abrams, we believe, is a really good candidate to run from the Democratic side. We believe she can get a lot of votes with her high name recognition, and also the fact that a lot of people have a positive view of her. And the other thing is Brian Kemp is currently getting primaried by David Perdue, which causes a huge splinter in the Republican Party. And this Republican primary will be very, very bloody and, very interesting to watch. And that will probably not be good for the Republican Party because they're going through such a intense battle. As a result, we put this one as Till D. And finally, we actually also have Arizona as Till D. We've made this clear from the beginning that Kimberly Yee was probably the only Republican candidate who could win in the state of Arizona. However, Donald Trump has endorsed Kari Lake, who is a very far right candidate. And this will not do very well in Arizona because a lot of them really don't like these Trump-style candidates. But again, given the environment, anything can happen. We saw in Virginia that a lot of the suburban areas that shifted towards the Democrats in the past few years shifted to Glenn Youngkin. We don't know what type of campaign Kari Lake is going to run. If she runs a very pro-Trump campaign, we're going to see the state go blue. So we got to wait and see on Arizona. It all depends on Maricopa County, how those Phoenix suburban areas vote. That will ultimately determine this governor election. And that marks the end of the video for today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this episode, please hit like one. If you like our content, please subscribe. And we'll see you in our next episode tomorrow or today, actually. See ya.